Gentlemen, a great tragedy happened. Gentlemen, a great tragedy happened today, as you can see by the title, by the thumbnail. Oh, damn it, that was good. Come back and say the burping again. I will say ladies and gentlemen, and then you interrupt me and then go, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, a great tragedy happened today, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail. Ssense filed for bankruptcy. First thing I want to state, Ssense isn't going to disappear right now. I know some people misunderstand the word bankruptcy. I did too when I was young, but it's a legal protection framework in which a company can try their best to get out of there, to try to get new creditor, new investor, find some way to stay in business during this hard time. I am not too well versed in this segment. Search up bankruptcy in Google. Just know that Ssense isn't going to shut down tomorrow. All the sources I cite will be in the description. The main source, or the first to report it, but the first I saw it anyway, was Business of Fashion by Malik Morris. Very good reporting, by the way. I'm going to pull some important quotes and we will break it down as best as I can. By the way, I'm not a journalist, just don't take this video too seriously. I'm just a big fan of Ssense. Ssense is filing for bankruptcy protection after what it described as an attempt by lenders to force a sale of the company. Chief Executive Rami Attala, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, said Ssense creditor want to pull it up for sale under the company's creditor arrangement. Attala said Ssense will fight the sale by filing its own CCAA bankruptcy protection to protect the company, keep control of our asset and operation, and fight for the future of the company. Lenders, they can be bank, private credit funds, private equity firms. These people loan out the money to Ssense so Ssense can buy clothes to sell, and then in return, they take security over assets. The creditors see the business not doing so well. We will talk about why. If the court chooses the creditors route, hundreds of people will lose their jobs, so we should root for Ssense and not the creditors. Also, remember, when Makasy Fashion was sold, they stopped operating completely and you get redirected to Flannel, which is a shit website and a shit online retailer. Here's a good quote from an article that made us understand the situation a bit better. So Ssense spokesperson Olive Leatherwood told The Logic, "We believe in the fundamental strength of our businesses. The process will give us the time and stability we need to restructure on our term, protect the interests of our employees and partner, and emerge stronger for the future." They want to stay in business. The management team want to continue to operate. We should find out the results soon. The article said that we'll get an answer next week. Attala attribute Ssense bankruptcy to the Trump administration trade policies, which have imposed 25% to 35% tariff on goods imported from Canada. The closure of the minimis exemption, which allowed packages worth less than $800 to enter U.S. duty-free, goes into effect Friday. And the article also talked about the luxury fashion slowdown, which we're all familiar with. I won't talk too much about it. People just not buying as much because Trump is causing so much chaos all around the world. So people are not as frivolous with their spendings. Luxury purchases are wants, not needs. Sales fell 28% in the first half of 2025. In May, Ssense laid off more than 100 employees. The tariff has put a lot of fear into consumers. For me personally, I don't sell my clothes to the U.S. customers anymore because there's just too much uncertainties. I also don't buy product from the U.S. because retaliation tariffs also exist. The EU has put some tariffs on U.S. goods as well. DHL and South Korean, Taiwanese, Hong Kong shipping company, they also stopped shipping to the U.S. altogether because of the fear of the longer wait time and all the paperwork, all the uncertainties. It would just cause a lot of headaches for everyone. According to TheLogic.com, in an effort to save money, Ssense clawed back parental leave benefit and froze bonuses and promotion. I read 4 to 5 articles and no one seemed to know who the creditor are that triggered the sale or trying to trigger the sale. We do know that Ssense sold a minority stake in the business to Sequoia Capital in 2021 for an undisclosed amount, which valued Ssense at $5 billion. That was the first time they took outside funding, according to the article. Ssense has nearly 1,900 employees as of December 9th, 2024, according to the PitchBook source from The Logic. I should have taken journalism as my school degree. That would have helped me so much. I can do a better job here. I want to tackle the $800 de minimis thing. Okay, so the reason I love Ssense so much is, an example, this Kiss boots, I got it for 1.5, or obviously over 800. It got hit with duties from FedEx. I had to pay like 300. I paid 300 to FedEx. I sent the receipt to Ssense, and then I used the credit later to buy something else from Ssense. This is a great business tactic or business practices to make consumers like me want to shop with them over other retailers, because other retailers don't have this policy. They said, hey man, all the duties, it's up to you. It's on you, man. You should read our policy. So this is one of the many reasons why I love Ssense. So when they remove the minimis, the 800, every sales now will be, they can get duty on. So it's just going to be a lot more emails. And I'm assuming, my assumption, my opinion, I'm not a journalist.
I used to buy shit from you all the time on the 800. I never had to pay. Now I have to pay.
So then, Ssense will have to refund, blah, 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 blah. So much headache. So I believe they will cancel this policy. They have to. If they don't, it's not sustainable. They will also have to raise prices. And then when you raise prices, the U.S. consumer, why would they shop at Ssense? They can shop at Bergdorf, Nordstrom, all the retailers in the U.S. who will have better prices because they don't have to pay tariff, they don't have to pay duty. So it will not be as competitive. You might say, oh, why don't Ssense just serve the Canadian market? They're a Canadian company. Well, the U.S. is actually their biggest consumer. So I went on SimilarWeb, which tells traffic, and 46.58% of Ssense traffic come from the US, 23% for Canadian. Speaking from personal experiences, Ssense sales in the US is much greater than EU, so they don't get a lot of EU consumers because, there are there are retailers who do similar sales, not as great a sale as Ssense. So I don't need to shop at Ssense because the price will not be comparable. I can shop at Selfridges, Harrods, because it's just easier, or another EU based. I'm still learning about the EU market, so not the greatest right now. So if I was still in the US though, I would not shop at Ssense at all because of all the uncertainties and possible delay with the shipping center, because again, the USPS people, they still don't know whether the tariff and duties are on or off. Trump is changing things every day. So again, prices will not be competitive to Saks or Bergdorf or Nordstrom. I do feel bad for Ssense though, because the company, they carry so many brands I love. Their customer service is the best in the business. Ssense sales are also the best for US anyway. And I believe the Canadian government will take the side of Ssense. A fire sale would not be good for business. If I were a private equity firm, I wouldn't offer my best price. I know they need the money. It would be in the interest of the Canadian government or the creditor or whatever court, blah, 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 to side with Ssense, because then, okay, what if Selfridges buy Ssense and then all of their possible tax from their revenue will go to the UK government instead of the Canadian government? I read a comment somewhere, I can't find it anymore, but they said something along that Ssense has not paid invoices to brands, which is probably true because, they're struggling and, the current market, blah, blah, blah. Cash flow is a big problem again. This is why they're filing for bankruptcy. When I was young, I thought the bigger the company, the harder it is to fall. But in reality, they're playing the same game as a small restaurant, just at a different scale. Instead of borrowing $50K or $100K from a bank to operate a small restaurant, they borrow $10 million to operate Ssense. Though I would love Ssense to stay in business, it will be hard with the Trump policies, the luxury slowdown. Even if they could restructure the business, it will still be hard. Let's say they sell some more shares, right, to new investors, get some new money, better cash flow. They will need to spend some of those money to pay back the current creditors and then design the invoices they haven't paid. And the market isn't looking too great either. And the orange man got 3.5 years left. So he's going to cause more chaos. Next week, we will find out the answer and then I will make another video. But it's not looking too good for Ssense, even if the court agrees with them and take Ssense side. My name is Makasy. I will see you next week.